My understanding of historical development of role of the teacher is actually not very good. So I'll share some views with you, but a little more tentatively. When we were talking about the conceptual and theoretical issues, uh, I feel a little bit more confident in that area. That is my area of study and work. And this is slightly, I'm unsure on this. Therefore, I'm actually sharing with you my views on this. And mixed up with some information from Krishna Kumar on various books of his. Uh, you see, generally speaking, we often talk of Guru Govind Dau Khade Kake Lagu Pai, etc. And therefore, in ancient India, Guru was at a very high pedestal, etc. I don't think that is entirely true. Uh, there seem to be historical evidence that gurus were classified in a way. There were various kinds of teachers. Some of them were really very highly respected. And that also depends on what tradition of learning. In the religious tradition of learning, some gurus were very highly kind of respected in that manner. But that may not be true in the secular education. And in the secular education, there were various kinds of status enjoyed by the gurus. So therefore, there were teachers, even in ancient India, which didn't have much of that kind of respect and were very poor. By the way, being poor was actually considered one of the qualifications of the guru, because the guru should depend on the society and his or her own knowledge. Mostly they were his, there were not many her gurus, so that's. Example I would cite for this is, this is very interesting if you look at Charak Samhita, which is a text on medical treatise basically. But it talks about learning and qualities of Shishya and qualities of Guru. And interestingly, it advises the Shishya before actually getting admission in some particular school of medicine to examine the Guru and gives criteria which kind of Guru you should choose. But once you have conducted your examination and once you have decided that this is the Guru I am going to choose, then you are supposed to submit to the Guru. So this is not unconditional, that anyone who is proclaiming himself to be Guru is unconditionally respected. No, there are certain kinds of things that Guru should be perfect in his knowledge, perfect as a human being. There are something which none of us today can qualify. If the students of APU start looking for those kinds of criteria in the faculty of APU, I think all of us would be summarily rejected. But the issue is that Guru was not only respected, Guru was also an object of examination in that sense. Now if we come to immediately before the biggest jump, and we come immediately before the colonial education, even that level, the teacher might have had a lot of respect, but then we will have to understand that it was a poor member of the society and depended entirely on the society. And I believe the respect of the teacher went up to certain extent in certain areas and didn't earn him or her any power in certain other areas at all. For example, political and economic areas, I don't think the teachers in pre-colonial area were very much respected. They were respected, maybe many of them being Brahmins, in matters of religion, ritual, various kinds of social customs and performances, and as a sort of respected person in the society in that area. But whether they enjoyed power, political or economic, this is still doubtful. Now, I think Krishna Kumar's treatment is quite comprehensive on this in his book, Political Agenda. that even that kind of respect in certain areas. In certain other areas, this respect was lost now. In certain areas, as I said, in social customs and this, and taking opinion on various issues in life, etc., this was real. So even this respect was actually more or less destroyed when the education took a different turn and this was organized as a government endeavor. Uh, I personally would agree, as I said, I don't know much about history of development of teaching, but I personally would agree with Krishna Kumar's claim that when teacher lost his autonomy in terms of contextualizing curriculum according to his own understanding and the society around him on the basis of conventions. You see, conventions are slightly easier things to deal with than written rules and this written curriculum, because there is a possibility of interpreting them according to my understanding and according to the context, and my preferences might come. And the second, pedagogy was totally under the control of the teacher. Now, the colonial education took both these things away. That respect of a person who should be supported by the society and the economic means of the teacher also dried up because the teacher became a salaried person. So a salaried person, obviously someone who is supposed to be providing knowledge to the society without any kind of expecting any gain material or any for a selfless soul which is devoted to giving knowledge, and knowledge being Gyan Dan, being the Mahadan, which means that the donation of knowledge is the biggest donation, kind of thing. Having those ideas, and now this knowledge, this person is given a salary for providing this knowledge, therefore this becomes his job. And therefore that part of respect is also, goes down. So it seems that this is in a way, perhaps a correct analysis. Someone who understands history can say more on this. Being at the lowest ladder and having educational officials who can actually punish and dictate the teacher also didn't help. And obviously this did not become a profession in that sense, in spite of some sporadic attempts at training and this and that. Interestingly, I don't think that for a very long time, at least till 2000, we did much to improve, or even now actually, whether we are doing much to improve the status of the teacher. Because again, around 60s, we invented NFE, which degraded teacher into an instructor. And then because of various kinds of court cases, etc., we started inventing various names for contractual teachers at a very low salary. And I think there are a dozen names for them. Instructor was the oldest in NFE, then Guru Mitra, Vidyamitra, Acharya, various kinds of names to justify low salary and keeping them separate from the teacher cadre. And some states even went as far as, not having any training qualifications for the teachers. So to my mind, this harmed both teaching as a profession and development of teacher education and the status of the teacher. So I think we are in a kind of era now when we are becoming conscious of our own deeds and the damage those deeds did. Now, whether that consciousness is only a lip service or whether it will result into something is yet to be seen. Because we do talk about it, but on the ground, whether in restoring teachers' capabilities and autonomy, or whether providing teachers with good teacher education, we are actually doing something substantial, doesn't seem to be visible to me today. So this has been a constant sort of neglected area. To sum up, there might have been extremely respected teachers in the ancient India, but there were existence of not so respected teachers as well. Immediately before the colonization was also a situation, there were institutions of higher learning where the teachers were greatly respected, and there were an average village school. There also teachers were looking at the available literature were respected, but that respect may not have translated into economic prosperity and political kind of respect and power. However, social respect was available, which is not a bad thing, and which is not a small thing. The colonial education system did a lot of harm even to what little they had economically as well as this respect. After independence, I don't see that we have improved much, or whether we have done anything to restore either the capabilities or strengthen the voice of the teacher or regain the respect or professionalization of teacher education. We have been talking about it, but on the ground there is nothing much to be seen.